Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose. This is the Tarot portion and the second half of my daily astrology vlog, which you can check out on my other channel, Astrology Today with Mel Rose. Over there, you will find a description of the day's astrology as I have spelled it out here. Here, I will discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page, and then I'll play another card that, in the context of today's astrology, may just give us something more to think about. So let's get into it. The card that currently sits on the side of the page is the Two of Pentacles, and it is here for a reason. It's here because it corresponds in astrology with the first 10 days or the first decan of the sun's transit here in the land of Capricorn. Capricorn is an earth sign, and pentacles or coins and tarot represent earth element symbolism, and earth element symbolism is about material wealth and success. It's about your body. It's about the stuff and things you rely on, like the roof over your head, the food you eat, the clothes you wear, the car you drive, and also, what it takes to get those things, which in this culture obviously is money. So what kind of work we're willing to do and what kind of investment of money we're willing to make in order that we can create a future of security and stability for ourselves. So we come to the Two of Coins here, or the Two of Pentacles, and we see that we're very much, this is at the beginning of the story, okay? We're in the cardinal sign of Earth, which is Capricorn, and cardinal is initiating. It is the beginning. It starts the plans. It initiates the work that we have to do to create that ideal sense of security for ourselves. So here at the beginning, we have to play a little bit of a game of balance, balancing often what we want toward what we need or what we would like to get versus what we can get in terms of the resources we're trying to draw in or just reach. And so, we're playing this game of balance. Sometimes, especially when you're in this situation where you don't have very many coins, you don't have a lot of physical resources to work with, then, you'll find that rapid change becomes a norm. That's definitely been the case for all of us over the last few years as we've watched the prices and things go up and down. We've watched the availability of certain resources change as well. So, rapid change is somewhat the norm, and often, rapid change comes in as well. Like take for example, your budget for your finances. You may have budgeted very well, you think, for everything, and you stick close to your budget, but then an expense comes up out of the blue that was not budgeted for, and you have to prioritize that expense over the stuff that's in the budget. And that means reworking the budget, right? That just means, playing this balancing game, trying to get things to work out. And again, dealing with forces that are in opposition is unavoidable sometimes. Sometimes we don't get what we want or what we'd like to be able to get or what would be ideal for us to get, and we have to deal with what we can get. Or sometimes, we're just struggling with ourselves over whether we get what we want right now or what we need, right? Whether we take care of our responsibilities before we take care of our sort of our desire to have certain things. So luckily, we are resilient, lucky, plucky, and resourceful people. Okay, so we are enough to rise to this challenge to learn how to juggle our physical resources in such a way that they will eventually add value to our lives. And, one more piece of advice that comes with this card, you see the wavy water in the back, and that talks about the ups and downs of emotion that can come in while we're trying to balance these physical resources, particularly our money and our personal health, our well-being, our physical well-being. Often when the bank account or the health account is low, the emotions are high, and when the bank account is high, the emotions, are a little more calm. So just remember that it's important to try to keep a calm mental attitude, a calm emotional state when you're trying to address, balancing the physical resources you have in such a way that they can continue to have value for you. And with that said, we got the Five of Cups today. Okay, so cups are water element symbolism. That's about how we feel, how things feel to us. When something happens, what is the emotion that strikes us? What are the memories that come up? What are the questions that arise? What are the thoughts and feelings that we have? Especially the feeling thoughts that we have around something. So, in this picture, we see that there has been a loss, right? The cups to me represent sort of emotional investments that we have made. And so, it's like we poured our heart out into these cups and we tried to share them with someone or something in some sort of way. And somehow those cups got spilled over, and not necessarily through any fault of our own or even anybody else's. We can't really say how that loss was incurred. But the truth of the matter is that it's just not there to share anymore, right? The emotion, the goodwill, the joy, the love that we poured out for the situation that we were trying to give to is just wasted. There's nothing more there to give of what we already poured out, and it's not shareable. It's on the ground. So appropriate. It is a card of mourning. It's appropriate to look upon what you invested and lost, and to mourn that loss, to think about even what you might do differently the next time, or just to feel it and understand. But also understand that there's always more love to give. There's always more emotional investment to give. There's always more goodwill to give, okay? We have this bottomless cup, this bottomless well, really, of emotional investment to draw on. We don't have to love is not a starvation economy. Okay, we don't have to budget out the love that we give, and like when one more person or one more thing we love comes into our lives, like give everything else less love so we can give that thing more love. That's not how it works. Okay, we really have a bottomless well of emotional investment to give. So just remember that as soon as you've come to a point where you know that you have mourned the loss that you incurred there, understand that you still have more to give. You still have more places to go. You still have more adventures to have. So it's appropriate to leave that loss behind and pick up your emotional investment and keep moving on. Yeah, absolutely. Keep trying to be emotionally invested. Don't give up, okay? Give yourself time to think about it, to mourn it, to think about your loss, definitely. But do not give up. Do not get lost in this reverie of what was or what never could have been. Recognize your capacity to continue to love and move on with it. And where do we see the Five of Cups here on the page? Well, I don't know where I'm seeing it, to be honest. Well, the moon is conjunct to Saturn today. And, moon is very much about our emotional well-being. It really has to do with your personal, private experience, things you might not ever have to express to other people, right? The way something feels in your body, the way something feels in your emotions, in your heart, the kind of thoughts that you have that arise when you feel things, and also that information that's coming from deep down in the gut, that intuitive information. That's all watery. That's all very moon sign stuff. Okay, it has to do with our body and our personal lives, our personal experience, and our personal connections with other people. And this afternoon, right afternoon today, the moon is going conjunct to Saturn. And the moon is going to move across Pisces by 1:30 tomorrow morning. Okay, so it's moving in this direction. The moon is moving in this direction, and it's moving much faster than Saturn. Saturn will still be right there tomorrow when we come back to it, whereas the moon will be all the way over here. So just understand that the serious mood that can come up with moon conjunct to Saturn, they tend to amplify one another's effects when they are conjunct, right? It's like two stars merging in the sky from our perspective, and so they become brighter. So they amplify one another's effects. So it's a serious feeling. It's an amplified serious feeling. So it can lead to feelings of depression. It can lead to just really serious, somber, and sober reflection on our lives. And, we can tend to be more pessimistic, less optimistic this time, more tending to focus on the loss than on what we have left to give, right? So it's okay to feel that way. It's okay to acknowledge your loss. It's okay to feel sad or somber or serious. And it's even okay to indulge a little bit of pessimism, just so that you know what it is, right? Just be aware that when you have a pessimistic thought like, oh, that will never work, or oh, I will never find the connection I'm looking for, understand that that is a temporary feeling and you don't have to hold on to it. In fact, please don't. Okay? Don't hold on to your mourning any longer than you have to, okay? Certain things will take a lifetime to mourn, of course, and then other things really only take a minute or a day or a week or a month, right? So don't spend more time in this in this low mood than you absolutely have to. But I also acknowledge that it's there on the page for us to feel for a couple of hours. It leads into our void of course today, which is 13 hours long. It spans the midnight hour, so it's a good time to sort of get into why we're so reflective on this sober mood, and to give ourselves some reasons why it might be time to go ahead and shift our perspective and look toward the emotional investments we can make, because after 1 o'clock in the morning tomorrow morning, the moon is going to go into Pisces, and we're going to still be feeling our feelings very deeply, okay? But it's going to be more in a mode of compassion for ourselves and others, more in a mode of intuitive optimism, just knowing that we can, if we can imagine it, we can create it in our lives, right? So definitely maintain healthy boundaries. Don't shift your perspective and say, oh, I still have all this love to give and I haven't learned anything from that last loss, right? If anything, this loss should tell us, what we're not willing to, and under what circumstances we're not willing to invest in the future. Like, okay, I see the mistake I made there, and now I'm going to go ahead and stay involved and try to be invested in being connected with other people, places and things, right? I'm going to go ahead and stay involved, and that thing that I did before, I'm going to be careful about it again. This next time. Perhaps I had a poor boundary with somebody, or I just threw myself, head first into something that I didn't really know what I was doing. And now that I know more about what I'm doing, I can go ahead and make those emotional investments in the future. I can go ahead and walk into new situations with goodwill and a lot of joy and love to give to it. Just knowing, like, yeah, and this is the circumstance under which I'm not involved, right? We all get to state for ourselves what our personal boundaries are around involvement with other people, places, and things. Taken together with the Two of Coins here, there's the high and low. There are the high and low emotions that come with trying to balance our bank book, trying to make our physical resource ends meet, trying to work ourselves to a point of better physical well-being if we're struggling with our physical well-being. There and often the low moods, okay, you see the low moods sort of in the middle here and the highs out here, so I'm seeing this sort of arc, right? There's definitely a wave that goes here. So what I can say is the low moods come along with the low income balances, the low bank balances, the low health, the whole low feelings of mental and physical well-being, because mental well-being is physical well-being. And so again, these highs and lows, they do occur for us, and it's important to remember that you can get back to a state of emotional calm, okay? That's always available to you. And understanding that this too shall pass, okay? The sun is in Capricorn right now, but so are Venus, Mercury, and Pluto, and they are conjunct to one another. And so, we've got all these very serious ideas right now. The Mercury is about our day-to-day thoughts, plans, and communications, the way we go about our daily lives, the way we think about ourselves and other things in our daily lives. And Venus is very much about what we like, love, and can't get enough of, and how we're going to draw that into ourselves, how we're going to get that to come to us, right? So, and they're conjunct with Pluto, which is a very transformative vibe. It sort of oversees the beginnings, the endings and beginnings that we go through. And Capricorn is a beginning. It's this Two of Coins. So we're just getting started, right? And the Five of Cups kind of indicates like, okay, so maybe you just got started investing in things, from the heart, and, investing your goodwill in things, which sometimes is, comes across as physical resources. Sometimes when you invest your goodwill in things, that's, putting $5 in the Salvation Army bucket, or, just sending money to support your favorite cause or somebody that you know that is in need. That's very much Moon and Saturn in Aquarius vibes right now. Looking out for the needs of others as we look out for ourselves. But, Pluto is here just saying, this too shall pass, right? That as far as the things that we have started and the things that have come into their fullness, and then perhaps become a little corrupted, perhaps don't work the same way they were intended to work from the beginning, whether those are personal habits or public institutions, and everywhere in between. Okay, Pluto has been here to sort of knock down things that don't do what they say they're going to do, and so so it brings us this understanding that while we're trying to initiate good things in our lives, from the heart, and also from a physical, a space of physical investment, the work we're willing to do, the money we're willing to invest, the time we're willing to invest. Pluto says, if you're in a low mood, if you're dealing with some depression, some sense of loss, whether it's a loss of money or loss of emotion or both, right? That this too shall pass, that there are highs and lows. And if you're at the low now, you can be at the high point again soon, okay? You really just have to pay attention to what you're doing, try to maintain that calm mental state. And when you get into that low mood, seek to shift your perspective to something a little more positive, okay? And I know it's not always just as simple as that. That's not the thing that just drags us out of depression, right? I'm just saying, as opposed to a chronic depressive state, just the low mood, we don't have to attach ourselves to the low mood and allow it to become a more long-term depressive state. We can seek to shift our perspective and to sail a little bit higher with our emotions and with our physical resources. I hope that made some kind of sense. I think it made some kind of sense to me, so I hope it worked for you as well. And I think that's all I have to say about it today, friends. We're always on to bigger and better things, even if we're struggling in the moment. My name is Mel Rose, and I so appreciate you being here today. I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today and Tarot.